Hey guys, Bill from the Panic Perspective here. Thank you for joining me today. So, I want to talk with you about describing or explaining the experience of having a panic attack to a friend or a family member who's never had a panic attack. You know, in my 20s, a friend of mine had asked me if I'd ever had a panic attack, and I said, well, why don't you explain it to me? And he talked about the racing heart and the tightening of the chest and the thoughts kind of run wild. And I said, I've never had a panic attack, but it sounds great. And it was 4 or 5 years later that I had my first panic attack. And truly, having a panic attack is something that's experiential, meaning you have to experience it to fully understand the gravity of it and what exactly it is. However, I want to give you a tool for explaining what a panic attack is like to a friend or family member in terms that they can grasp it. So here's what I tell my friends. Imagine you're in the ocean. It's a beautiful day. You're swimming in the ocean, and you're a strong swimmer. You're not worried. You can't touch the bottom, but you're out for a swim. Your head pops up above the water, and there's a huge fin coming directly for you. You've watched enough Shark Week to know that that is the fin of a great white shark. We all know what happens next. And then I ask them to imagine the level of fear that they would experience. Adrenaline would rush through their body. Their fight or flight mechanism would be triggered. And a level of terror would erupt throughout their body and their mind. Now, that's an obvious one that a lot of people can relate to, even though most people have never had a great white shark attack them. But most people can relate to the idea of that. Now, from there, I walk it back a step for them. Walk it back a step because they're still thinking, you're not in the ocean. There's no great white shark. And I ask them, have you ever been in a swimming pool at night and you've had the fear of a shark behind you? You know it's not logical. You're in a pool. All of your logical senses tell you that you are completely safe from sharks, but yet the fear is there, and the fear is not operating on the level and the realm of logic. So you swim as fast as you can to get out of the water, and I ask them if they've ever had that experience. And most people have had that experience at some point in their life. Then I walk them back one more step. Okay, imagine the same amount of panic that you had when I asked you to imagine the great white shark coming for you in the ocean. But now you're at a playground. You're in a room where there's no threats. You're watching your child's play at school. You are hanging out with loved ones. You're in a business meeting. There is no great white shark. There's no land shark. But yet, that same feeling of terror, that same adrenaline, the fight and flight mechanism activated, and yet there's not really a trigger that would warrant it. And then I tell them, if you can imagine the first scenario that I talked about, then you can imagine what it's like to have a panic attack. But with a panic attack, it's even worse. And the reason it's worse is because there's no shark. And so what that does is that plays into the fear of what is going on with me, what is wrong with me. So then I look at my friends or family, my loved one, and I say, so now do you understand what it's like to have a panic attack? And they say, well, I get it if you're in the ocean and there's a shark that's bearing down on you, but, you're sitting on the couch and there's no shark. And then I remind them about the second scenario, and I say, the second scenario in the pool, logically, there's no shark, correct? You firmly know in your head that there is no shark in that pool, and yet the fear is still there. So, is fear always associated with logic. Oftentimes it's not. Oftentimes it's not. And then they go, oh, okay, I get it. I get it. I see what's happening. So if you're trying to explain to friends and family what it's like to go through a panic attack, feel free to use the shark analogy. By the way, I'm a scuba diver. I scuba dive down at Laguna. I see leopard sharks and nurse sharks, stingrays all the time, and they're actually very playful. And, well, I don't know if they're playful, but they're very non-threatening. They're just kind of going about their business. Oftentimes there are people swimming they have no idea that there are these leopard sharks around. But at any rate, so again, is fear always a logical thing? And oftentimes it is not. So I just had to give my shout out to the sharks there. But at any rate, if you could, please smash the like button. It helps with our algorithm to send the video out to more people so we can help more people. Let's do this as a team. Let's work together to help more people. If you hit the subscribe, what happens is if your notifications are on, whenever I upload a new video, it'll let you know, and then you can check out the most recent video. Thank you so much, guys. We're in this together as a team. Thank you for joining me.